Welcome to the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia. An absolute pleasure to have this wonderful lady next to me, of course, our resident genius. Well, you know, you encourage a lot of genius in others. It's great to see the messenger herself that I won't shoot. Okay, it's Terry Messenger, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I believe the pleasure is all mine. Great to be here with you today, Aaron.
Always fun.
And it's a different time. It's not the happy hour.
I know. We're on the coffee right now. We're being very responsible.
We're on the hard stuff. So there we are. So we are actually honouring our US people that come in from the US, and I'm going to introduce this lady.
Okay.
She's actually one of my kind. So this lady is a master NLP practitioner.
Quite a title.
And, you know, she's probably I was one of the earlier ones. So she's done a lot of the latest work, which is really good. Okay. So we're going to be talking all things language, how your words impact your life. And, you know, this lady is incredible. She also is a matrix coach.
Oh, okay. Now, can she make me bend like that?
I know.
Now from the Matrix, you know, when he bends, he gets shot out.
Of course.
Yeah, come on, work with me here, okay? I'm a child. Right.
Yeah. So which pill?
Which
the
pill?
Red or the blue?
Do you have to ask when it comes to me? Really?
I know, right?
I think I may be a little bit red pilled, just saying.
Okay, because it goes faster. So anyway, with no further ado, this lady, she does matrix coaching. She does all things EFT. She is about language, really empowering your life and being kind to yourself. So with no further ado, let's bring on the beautiful, all the way from Las Vegas, Lisa Manzo.
Hey, Lisa, how you going?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely our pleasure. I'm looking forward to today because it is not often that I sit down with somebody and have a conversation who's got the same sort of qualifications, and I'll invert those commas, as our lovely Terry here. So I love to see when people do similar kind of things, but from I don't know, different directions, I guess, you know. Yeah. So it's nice to sort of compare styles, and because you know, there's always someone right for you, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yes. So on that note, Aaron's absolutely right, and I think too that people that are very fanatical about what they do, and I'm definitely in that category, you do tend to go out and seek a lot of teachers and mentors as well.
Agreed.
Just to see, you know, what works and, you know, if there's anything that's even better. So let's kick it off with the art of communication and why language is so vitally important, especially to us. And when we're saying things about other people, you know how sometimes you talk about other people.
We can be a bit naughty. Yeah.
You know, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a bad way, but why the subconscious mind thinks you're talking about yourself.
Okay.
So that's an interesting one. So over to you, Lisa. Let's talk about why it's so important and, you know, just what your teaching is around it and what you suggest to the audience, especially when it comes to what you say about others, what you say to yourself.
Well, the first thing I do is I make sure I'm talking to myself in the way I want others to talk to me. And language is so important. Anytime we use the words I am, we're programming our unconscious mind, whether you're aware of it or not. And when I program my mind, I want it to be something that's serving me instead of something that's not serving me. And in language is just so important. And for you an instance, so instead of saying I am tired, because I don't want to put that in my brain, in my body, I'm experiencing symptoms of feeling tired, because then I'm not owning it.
Okay. So it's just a bit of a change in words, in vocabulary, because I was going to say there's no point us lying to ourselves at the same time, because if you say, you know, I'm feeling great, but you're actually not.
Who are you fooling? Right?
Yeah. But I remember one of my teachers used to teach me this up until now little verbal, which was, you know, if somebody was really struggling with something, look, I realized that up until now, you've had that real big problem on your back.
Okay.
And, but I wonder what that's going to look like. But see, it's a suggestion. So you're saying that if we're tired, let's just say we're exhausted, we're tired, or we're not feeling great, instead of saying I feel exhausted and all of that, so what would be the language around that?
I just say what I'm experiencing it, because like you said, you can't lie to yourself because So while I am experiencing those symptoms, I'm not owning them.
Yeah. So it's a part of us, not us in essence. Like the I am, I know that. Did you ever follow Wayne Dyer? You heard of Wayne Dyer?
No, I can't say I have.
Oh, Wayne Dyer, absolutely incredible. He has passed on. Do you know who I'm talking about, Lisa?
Yes.
He is a great teacher and philosophy person, and people came from near and far. But he always talked about the I am. So if you're going to use the words I am, it's almost a biblical principle. I am that I am. So I am, and he used to talk about oneness with everything, like oneness and unity with everybody. And whatever you say after I am is very, very powerful. But what I'm hearing you say, Lisa, is instead of saying I am tired, I'm experiencing a bit of tiredness at the moment. Is that kind of like what you mean?
It's exactly what I mean, because I don't want my body to own that feeling and then have it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is it positive to use the I ams when you're talking about something positive or something that you want to build in yourself? And then the things you want to get rid of, you just go, someone else can own those things.
Well, the things that you want to keep, I am statements are fabulous. And the ones that you want to learn, you can add that word yet to the end. I haven't learned that yet, or that hasn't happened yet, because that's still a program to your brain to look out for it and to make it happen.
Okay.
Yes. And, it's interesting, but we learned, and I just said the word just then, a 3-letter word, that there is one word in the vocabulary that literally negates every single thing. So, for example, if I was talking to someone and I said, I really like you, I think you are fabulous, and then I say, but explain to Aaron what that then does when I use that 3-letter word.
So when you use that 3-letter word, everything you said before it means nothing. It's like, why did you even say that for? You love me, but I did something wrong.
Yeah, okay.
That's all that is.
I prefer however, anyway, but there you go.
However's good.
It's a fancy butt.
I know, I'm just teasing. But no, you've made a great point though. But you've negated what you've just said.
Yes.
It's just that it is literally that plausible deniability. You may as well be a politician.
Oh, absolutely. And don't politicians, I don't know whether you've observed this with politicians, but they'll talk about one party and they'll actually put it out on one side, and they'll go like this, and then they'll talk about another party, and it might be the negative party that they're really trying to, absolutely throw under the bus. And what they do is they build on the framework of everything they put, because it's called spatial anchoring.
Okay.
So it's almost with and without, communication. So it could be, this is happening, all the good things, we're helping people survive, we're creating more jobs, we're doing this, we're eliminating the high taxes. I don't know. I mean, in America, it's all different. Really putting all the positives, and then over the other side they put all the negatives. But there's GST, and there's homeless, and there's the prices of rent going up.
Sorry to interrupt, but I've got a question. Does it make a difference which hand I use? Right?
No, as long as you stay true to the one you use. So I always, when I was teaching people this framework, I always said, well, I'm going to use the left hand as to put the negative side, because if you mix them up, it loses that effect.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What if you're Italian? Then you're in trouble.
Well, you're not actually using the power of influence.
No.
So, what they're doing is, if they're throwing the other party under the bus, and they're basically saying all the negative stuff.
Imagine.
And so what they're doing is they're associating with their audience all the negative with that side, with the person or the leader that they're wanting to squash.
Yep.
And then on the other side, it's all about rainbows and butterflies and all this fabulous stuff. Do you understand about the spatial anchoring, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely. And then sometimes what they do is, when they're linking themselves to it, they'll be pointing at themselves while they're saying all the positive things, and then when they go to the negative, they start pointing someplace else. So that's another way they
I'm
do
not
that.
saying I'm a genius, Aaron. I'm not saying
not at all.
I'm absolutely fabulous.
Not at all. But the power of language is far more than just the words that come out of your mouth, obviously. So much of language, so much of communication is non-verbal. So it's a great point, like using those anchoring techniques, using those techniques in conversation and manipulation in a lot of cases.
It can be. And look, it can definitely be used for that. Traditionally, as a therapist, like I was dealing with, we went to a healing festival a few weeks ago, and I've kind of been bombarded with a lot of new clients.
Right.
And so
what a terrible problem you've got.
Oh, terrible. Shocking.
Hate to see you struggle.
Yeah, I know. So, we're doing the quit smoking. So I do the hypnosis and we go through all of that. Now, the kind of hypnosis that I use, and I'm not sure about yours, but maybe we could find that out, is the one like Milton Erickson. So Milton Erickson, you didn't have to go to sleep.
Okay.
It was very client focused.
Right.
It was very much about what they want. So it was very non-manipulative. And then when you're putting it together with the therapy of spatial anchoring, where you're putting the good on one side and the bad on the other.
Yep.
So once I finished my session, for example, last night, I said, okay, so if there was something that was going to really hold you back and cause you to backslide from this, what would it be? And of course, she went, smokers, or people with addictions, they're going to have their list. Oh, I could get triggered when I'm with my friends.
Gotcha.
Stress could happen. But the thing is that I got her, and this is why I want to kind of just reframe this a little bit. So as a therapist, and I'm sure Lisa agrees with this, we will then get that person to see the negative on one side and to see the positive on the other, and actually bring it together. And that's what it was actually designed for. But we understand that politicians, speakers, leaders, and influencers use it.
They do.
And even pickup artists and, people like that, they use it in their advantage. So what's your thoughts? How do you use like hypnosis? What style? And
come on, Lisa, let's hear your techniques of being a pickup artist. That's great.
Well, I've never mastered that one yet. I haven't yet mastered being a pickup artist. So I like to also, what Terry said was, bring it together, because the smoker, they have their best interest at heart. And the non-smoker has their best interest at heart. So you have these two sides of the person. One, they want to stop smoking, but yet they still want to smoke because it made them part of a group. It made them connected. It made them part of the tribe. So you have the fear of losing that. When I stop smoking, I'm not going to have my tribe anymore. I've got to go find a new one. And there's real fear in that.
Yeah.
With NLP, I mean, are there techniques to stop people from wanting to be one of the Joneses? Are there techniques that will stop people from falling for peer pressure? Because we've often talked about this. This is not something, because I don't know.
We do have some Joneses in the building.
We do have some Joneses.
Some residents.
Absolutely.
Yep. So
it's a good point. There we go. And I like them very much.
Keeping up with the Joneses. They're good.
They're good people.
They're great people.
But I want them to have their stuff.
Yes.
I want to have my life. I don't understand peer pressure. I really don't. I mean, and when people talk about smoking, for argument's sake, I grew up around smokers. I had never, ever had a desire to smoke, right?
Your mother had the art of communication.
She certainly did.
She knew how to wire you.
Yeah, well, she knew I was a car
heard
guy.
About that. Yes.
As a car guy, she made it possible for me to get my first car and all of that, right? and she linked smoking to it. Very smart woman, right?
Very smart.
So
that's a technique in itself.
There you go. Well, you've got to know somebody's their language, but you also got to know their currency, right?
Yeah,
and that was my
that's right.
currency. So there you go.
So I'm forgetting your question now. Did you have a question?
I forgot too.
So,
no, no. I mean, I want to. I wonder if there's some really, I don't know, hard baked NLP techniques that can stop people who fall for peer pressure.
That's the one. Yep. I'll let you answer first, Lisa.
So there are techniques. I feel my personal experience is that the person really has to want the change, because if they're not invested or wanting it, it doesn't matter what you do or say. Any technique you use will not work unless they really want it.
Exactly. And also there's two sides of the story here, because like I said to my dear beloved client last night, believe it or not, logically you want to quit that addiction. So there's that logical side that knows that's best. But then there's the other side, which you were just talking about, Lisa, which just to kind of sum that up, it's the higher purpose of why we do what we do. So even when we acknowledge the subconscious, so the subconscious is like a child.
Okay.
You've got to treat it with kitty gloves. So if you're going to be making big change, it's not about persuading the logic. It's about, okay, logically, I don't want to keep up. I don't want to have that competitive attitude anymore. Right. I don't want to be in this situation where I'm always trying to keep up with the Smiths,
sure.
Or whatever it is. But there is a reason, and everything that we do in NLP, and I'm sure you would agree with this, is about the subconscious reason behind it. So say, for example, if someone is very focused on what the other person is doing and keeping up with that, and then there's even a little bit of that competition happening, what you've got to do is you've got to get to the bottom of what are they feeling, not about the fact that the behavior is the behavior, but the behavior is only as a result, isn't it, Lisa? But it's about finding, where did it come from? What is it that you feel like there's it could be an inferiority. It could be a deep insecurity. It could be like an incident. It's like, I don't think my sister will mind this. I'll just quickly say it. But, when we were growing up, my father played us against each other. He did. He was a bit wicked like that.
Well, if you're going to have two girls, like, you got to race them. I get it.
That's what he was doing. And I don't know, I somehow with Dad, I just don't get offended by him. It's like I just know. Right. Jennifer got very offended by him. So he created this thing between us where we thought we had to keep up with each other. Right. But it was actually something that stemmed from something that probably really that fire needed to be put out. But got any thoughts around that communication, Lisa?
The communication it's so important. And for me, I will give you my own personal experience in regard to smoking. I wanted to smoke like all my friends were smoking. And I'm so grateful I coughed for 20 minutes the first time I inhaled, and that was the end of that. And that was the end of my thought. Well, I was really lonely, and I've had a lot of time to think about this. I was lonely at home. I had a couple of friends. It was 7th grade. It was the worst year of my schooling. I had no friends in my class. All my friends were in the other class. I was miserable, and I just wanted to be a part of something.
Gotcha.
And that's where that stuff comes from. And those some I was lucky enough not to end up being a smoker, and I was lucky enough to figure that out that I figured it out in 8th grade that. I didn't want to be part of something of people that weren't going to value me for who I was. And I was able to walk away from that.
Good on you. That's so, and that thing of being loved, valued, and accepted is so vitally important. But let's talk about the language of healing now. And I believe that it kind of summarizes a lot about the work you do with the matrix coaching. And, I'm a believer that if somebody has an ailment, and people know that, I'm definitely very close to that situation at the moment. So when someone is sick or ill or has disease, there is actually a payoff. There is a
Tough to
payoff.
see when you're in the middle of it. That's
I
for
know,
sure.
and some people don't like hearing it,
Mm.
but believe it or not, even like you might trip and hurt your knee, there is a payoff.
Really?
Yeah, I was walking around that festival
Yep.
a few weeks ago. There's nothing wrong with my knee whatsoever,
Okay.
and it collapsed. And it collapsed at a certain time when I was just about to turn the corner and go and see the acupuncturist.
Right.
And the acupuncturist said that there is a symbolic reason behind it. So for starters, it's on the left side of the body. So the left side of the body represents the right side.
Did she really just have a tripwire to get some business? I mean, maybe that's what she's
Look, maybe that's what, you never know. You're like in the big city. But, getting back to the reality of it, do you believe that, Lisa? Like, my belief is that everything happens for us, not to us.
Oh, it absolutely is. And yeah, we could talk about the getting hurt and the falling, because I was a master at that, and it serves a purpose. It absolutely serves a purpose.
So what's the best way? I'd love to hear it from your perspective of a person comes to you, they're dealing with, perhaps something that needs to be healed. So something in their body. So I know meta consciousness, which is the symbolic reason of why everything happens to us. What can you give us an example around it, and perhaps some healing and words and language around that?
Okay, so I had a client that would fall all the time, always fell, all the time, like tripped over things, knocked things over. And finally, I just asked her, I'm like, how long has this been going on? And she's like, oh, my whole life. And I'm like, is that the way you got attention?
Whoa.
Yes.
And I asked, and I said, is that the way you got attention? She goes, oh my God, yes. That was one of the only ways I got attention, only if I got hurt. I always felt invisible. Like, my parents didn't want to see me. They didn't want to talk to me. And I got hurt, and because I would get attention that way. And I'm like, okay, are you ready to give that up now? You're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You're an adult. Would you like to give that up? And we did a whole session, a hypnosis session on it. And she stopped because she was ready, because she saw the connection and it wasn't serving her anymore. She was just getting hurt herself, and there was nobody around to give her any attention. It was so rewarding to see her let go of that.
Lisa, you've just said several things that have really hit home with me in the conversation. Like, things that don't serve you anymore. It's so true. We carry this luggage, baggage, more to the point. I mean, I've got more baggage than Heathrow Airport, right? And I take it everywhere with me, and it does not serve me. I need to drop it. And through life, don't get me wrong, I'm working on myself, as everybody I think should be, right? Because we're all a work in progress. I just drop a little luggage here, a little bit more baggage here, and we slowly sort of work through it. But it is so important to realize these things are not serving you anymore, whether it be, bad memories or bad things that's happened to you, or a fall, or being ignored by your parents in the case of that woman there. There's a lot to it. And also the other thing you said was things don't happen to you, they happen for you. Now, a gentleman came into my life, an announcer here, Edge, that Drew, who brought that Drew Geldert, who had look, I won't go into it, a horrendous upbringing, right? But one of the most, genuine, wonderful human beings I've ever met.
Yeah.
And he introduced that to me, right? And I thought to myself, how could you have lived that life and gone through those experiences and be so bloody positive about the fact that it's happened for you?
Probably why.
Well, that's exactly why. And from my point of view,
his character.
It has carved his character, exactly right. But for me, when the first time he said it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I thought, what a load of rubbish. I said it to him. I mean, I think that's rubbish. And over time, guess what? I opened my mind up a little bit, and I went, oh, damn, he's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's brilliant advice.
Yeah.
It really is. These are the character defining moments in your life.
Exactly. And I think we're going to have to do a bit of a reframe here, Lisa. with Aaron. I don't know about
Uh-oh.
you, but I'm going to go with the baggage from Heathrow Airport.
Yes.
You see, what we believe
Mhm.
is that your words are your want.
Yep.
So, look, I'm famous for it, so don't get me wrong. You know, we all do this. But, you know, it's funny what you say, but let me tell you, someone very close to me said a lot of jokes and they all came true. I'm watching them come true as I
Yes,
speak.
I
And,
understand.
you know, you saying that you've got more baggage than Heathrow Airport. Now, I'm going to go back to what my mentor used to say to
Mhm.
me, and I'm also going to bring some conscious competency around it. And while I'm doing that, Lisa, I'm going to get you to reframe it. So am I able to have a go at that, Aaron? Do I
Go
have
for it. Go
your
for it.
permission? Okay, so all right, so let's just say you were coming to see me and you were telling me that you got more baggage than Heathrow
Mhm.
Airport, right?
Yep.
I would then actually confirm that. I would say, so you've got more and you've had more baggage than Heathrow Airport, did you? Now, what happened
I
just
saw
then?
what you just did.
Okay, so this is the hypnotic part that doesn't make sense. So
Okay.
the words start to get a bit jumbly.
I just thought you had poor grammar.
But, yeah, poor
Yeah.
grammar. Yeah, but this is where hypnosis is very forgiving, because what did I just do? I put it into the
Past, you
past.
certainly did.
So, you know, up until now, then what I said before. So up until now, you've been feeling like you're carrying more baggage than Heathrow Airport, didn't you? And I wonder what it's going to be like now. And then just dropping in a little suggestion
Mhm.
that's going to be, you know, perhaps befitting and in the person's best interest. So I wonder what that's going to be like now for you to be able to walk free without that baggage, and whether that's going to feel light and what that's going to mean for your life.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of Milton Erickson style that I learned. But let's go over to you for a reframe on that.
So for me, you know, because everybody has their own take, I'd be like, you have so much baggage, just like Heathrow Airport, as much as Heathrow Airport. Is that really possible, or is that slight exaggeration? And
I'm
we
in the
talk,
media. What do you think?
Yes, CBT, absolutely, because it's a generalization, right? Yeah,
right? And is
yeah.
that an exaggeration? And of course, you're going to say yes. And I'm like, well, let's look at what kind of baggage you really have, and because we're inflating what we have, and we're inflating everything else. So let's bring it back to what we're actually looking at.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
a question that's come up from Michelle, which I would love to sort of ask her. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the question, and we love being interactive.
Michelle's
So,
coming on the show in 2 weeks.
very cool. I'll ask her again. There we go. Now, Michelle asks, are there any ways to ask yourself what's wrong?
Come on, Lisa. Let's go over
I'm curious
to
on
you.
this one.
Let's go for you first.
This one I love, because when I want to know what's wrong, I wait until I'm really, really tired, and I sit down with my journal, and I sit there and I ask, and I write out the question, and I won't get up until I get the answer. And because I'm so tired, my unconscious mind will give it up pretty quickly because it wants to go to sleep.
Yeah, and that's the best time to get in, isn't it? What's that again? Is that beta, theta, alpha?
I think it's theta
Beta.
and alpha.
BETA.
Because you're connecting to your higher self, because you're tired and you're opening the door. The gatekeeper has opened the door because you are tired, and it will give you the information so much quicker.
So you would suggest to Michelle to wait until she's going off to sleep, and then actually ask herself the question. So I would also ask, like, what is it that you require? Can you just bring that question up again, if that is okay? Just because I'm so visual as well. So
I get that completely.
Michelle, when you are now, Michelle has had a massive experience with illness that I won't go into it now, but in 2 weeks, I'm telling you, this lady, for what happened to her, is going to be phenomenal to sort of unpack. So are there any ways to ask yourself what's wrong? So what's wrong with what? So here we go again with the
Mhm.
CBT, and Lisa just practiced that a little on you,
Yep.
where you generalized something and she opened it up like, is that really the case?
Yeah.
And you even make fun of them a little bit. That's the other part, isn't it? So you're sort of going, you're visualizing a big airport and all this baggage. Like, where do you keep it anyway? You know, that kind of jazz. So what exactly is it? And you don't have to answer this now, but you can perhaps bring it on the show. What is it that is wrong that you want to address? So you do need to be a little bit more specific. So it could be, what's wrong with the way that I'm feeling in my health, what's wrong with my body, what's wrong with my relationships right now. I want you to think about that more specifically. And then, as Lisa has said, when you go to bed at night, ask yourself with that specification, what is it that is wrong with me in this, and this? And what is the higher purpose? So with you taking that question to bed, you'll probably wake up with a solution in hand. Oh my gosh, Anne used to tell a joke about that. Sorry. Moving on.
No, I want to interrupt on this one. Okay. Now, asking yourself these questions and talking to yourself about these issues when you're about to go to bed. Now, for me, that is never going to work. Well, hang on, there you go. Look at me, Mr. Negative. But, okay, at the time when people should be sensible and trying to be going to sleep, my mind goes, hey, here's a great time to reinvent the wheel, right? Here's the time to think about every possible thing that I can, even things that don't touch my life. No.
Well, that's why.
So, like, I don't. I just think.
That's why.
Right. There's got to be a better way.
There is a better way, Aaron, because your ideas are all coming out in your creativity.
Yep.
And it really means, look, I used to get frustrated when I was younger. I reckon I never slept.
Right.
I just was a chronic insomniac. And, then you get frustrated because you can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get angry with yourself. But you've got to look at it as, what is it that I need to get off my chest here? So it sounds like you get a lot of downloads at night when you're going to bed.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Yeah. So you know what you got to do with that?
What's that?
Lisa, you answer it. What does he do with all these downloads that he's getting so that they can come out of his head and he can go to sleep?
You had two options here. You can either write them down or voice record them so you can let them go and they'll be there in the morning so you could sleep.
That's it. Bam. Everything. And if you want to write it in absolute Ghibli goop, your own, just boom, 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 boom. But you're saying to the hand, you're just writing all these things down.
Yeah.
You're taking it from here instead of stewing on it and trying to find all the answers while you're trying to go to sleep.
Okay.
So, yeah, get it.
It's a practical solution, let's face it.
Yeah.
Aaron, let us know how that works. Let us know how that works tonight when you try it.
Well, I've done things in the past which have worked so well. I did the one thing at one point. I put the office in my room so that when I wake up, or at 3 o'clock in the morning, or not even when I wake up, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when I have these creative ideas, I go, and then I go straight to my office and actually start working on it. That works so well. Yeah, so healthy.
My goodness.
Yeah, or now what I do often is I actually pick up the phone and I type it in the diary section and put something in there.
Yeah.
But,
or speak it into the phone even. But here's another thing, and this is attached to Michelle as well. Okay. It's be kind to yourself. Now I'm going to let Lisa sort of open this up a little bit more. Don't set tasks that are too huge, that are overwhelming. Make them doable. Be kind to yourself. Okay. Over to you, Lisa. You're the queen on this one.
So we're going to be kind to ourselves because the way we treat ourselves is how we teach other people to treat us. That's the first thing. And
right.
If we need to take baby steps because our nervous system will not allow us to do the whole big project, that's okay, because we're talking progress instead of a perfection, because we're working our way towards the end goal.
Yes.
Have you been working behind the scenes on at Edge? Because we actually have a show called Progress Over Perfection.
Oh, no.
There you go.
I was just thinking that. That's
Lisa, do you need a side
incredible
gig? Because, we need help.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm available anytime. You just let me know.
We'll talk later. And yes, that would be very, very good. And I do think your listeners do like a little bit of NLP and hypnosis.
Oh,
don't
no
they?
doubt about it. Yeah,
You think
for
they
sure.
do? Yeah,
I think so.
it could be helpful. Yeah, so let's now talk about, the big conversation of the healing. How much can we heal of ourselves through the power of our words?
We can do a lot of healing through our words. And you might need a little help in the beginning, because I needed help in the beginning when I started this healing journey, because I didn't understand how it all worked. So I needed a guide to help me, and then to talk to me about my language. And they would say, is there a better way you can say that? Or is there something you'd like to say instead? And I had my coach help me with that. And then I had realized, after I'd gotten further down the road, I can do it myself. But in the beginning, my nervous system was so frayed that I needed somebody to walk with me and hold my hand through it in order to help me heal. And now that I'm this further down the road, I can do it myself. And I know what to do, because I've had so much practice at it. And I live, eat, and breathe language. I'm so passionate about it, and about making sure that the right words come out of my mouth. And when I do, because I'm human, make a mistake, and something that doesn't serve me comes out of my mouth, I reframe it immediately.
Yep.
That's a great skill. Many years ago, I
Yep.
had a girlfriend who, kept sort of saying, language is so important, language is so important. And I thought, look, I talk for a living. I'm pretty well on top of this, I think, right? But I wasn't. I really wasn't, because sometimes I was framing things in not a negative way as such, but just in, I don't know, from one very firm direction. Whereas when you think about your language, you kind of go, okay, how does this affect me? How does this affect you? How does it affect you? You look at a bigger picture. It's more like you're actually, like a lot of times in conversation, we answer, or actually while someone's speaking, we're actually processing and putting an answer together, and we don't actually listen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
And
yes.
when I sort of changed that in myself to a degree, I mean, like everything, it's always a work in progress. But when you're actually listening because you're listening and you want to actually get the information out of there, and you're not preparing an answer, you tend to come back with an answer, in my opinion anyway, that comes from more angles. You're considering more people. You're not just coming from the I point of view.
Yeah. There's actually, there's a word for it, what you're describing, and it's called active listening.
Okay.
So when a person is actively listening, that means that they're not racing forward to think about what they're going to say. But this comes back to the power of words and influence now. So by listening to what you just said and then reiterating it and confirming it, we even suggest that is a great way to start your own conversation, as long as you've given acknowledgement to that person for the words that they've just spoken, and not just disregarded them, because then they feel railroaded or they feel steamrolled.
I agree.
So they've got to feel like they were heard.
So, Lisa, do you feel that the person's acknowledgement of actually what you've said is a vital part of the conversation?
It's it's definitely a vital part of the conversation. And you can, there's a couple of tricks. My favorite trick is when somebody's telling me that something's hard, I like to say to him, oh, I understand that's not easy. So in the NLP world, our unconscious mind does not process the word not. So I just program their mind to know that it's easy, while still keeping my rapport with them by acknowledging their feelings.
I like that. It's a funny thing, and I'm going to go left to center on this conversation. It's like when something is $9.99, okay? Guess what you hear? You hear $9, and you go that way. Whereas if it's $10, you hear $10, right? But at $9.99. So by framing it in the more positive way, your mind will go that way rather than take it to, like in everyday language. I'm using the dollar and cents reason because this technique is used on us every single day. Everywhere we go, everything we purchase, that technique is used.
Yes.
So why not take those I don't know, those styles of psychology and language and turn it into a positive in your everyday language, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. And what we call it too is when you know, you asked Lisa the question before about how important is it to be able to reiterate. We call that rapport.
Yeah, okay.
So it's actually the first, I don't know about you, Lisa, because I'm talking about 2006 when I learned NLP, but the first framework we learned was, you know, active listening, building rapport. Remember we talked about, you know, mirroring a little bit without being too much, but, you know, that's kind of rapport as well. And also being able to look at people and see how their language does impact their life. And like you said before, Lisa, unpacking that and just getting them to think about it so that it's in a different way. But I don't know, how much time have we got left? I was going to say, do you want to share something with us, Lisa, and the audience for radio that you think is going to be really powerful for our listeners? And, you know, it's around obviously your genius zone.
I like to share when I became emotionally intelligent, and I've created a course around it. And it's so interesting because the language is important, and yet being able to look at our emotions and see where they're coming from is as important as the language. And so in emotional intelligence, we have self-awareness. So that's becoming aware of what your emotions and where they're coming from. Then we have self-regulation. Not an easy thing to do, right? You heard me. I said not an easy thing to do. So I program my mind to say
it's easy.
Well, but I'm still connecting with the audience because it is not easy to do, and yet it's possible. And then there's social awareness on emotional intelligence. That's you and I, right? We having great conversation. Your body language is open. My body language is open. You're not closed off, and being aware of that because there's always clues that always give you. The person that you're talking to will always give you clues of how they're receiving you, whether you're in rapport or not with them. And then there's relationship management, right? This is another aspect of it. So you're going to manage your relationship by building rapport with the people that are important to you and figuring out ways, because you're the emotionally intelligent person, how to get past their resistance. Because you can.
So what do you mean? Can you give us an example about getting past resistance? Because it definitely is where we've got to, you know, definitely see their side of the story before we can actually put our own side of the story forward.
So one of my biggest things that I get access that people will try to explain, and I'm able to reconnect with rapport pretty instantly, is by saying, I'm really confused. Is this what you're saying? Right? Mm-hmm. And I might intentionally get it wrong because people love to explain. And then they'll start,
so you intentionally get it wrong just to open the conversation?
Not always, but sometimes if the person's really locked up in their viewpoint, I'll get it wrong on purpose because I want them to explain their viewpoint to me so that I can get more details and I can get more information from them. But if they're mad and they're angry, they're not going to do that. But if I say I'm confused or if I get the information wrong, then they want to correct me and they want to make sure I understand their viewpoint, and I'm going to get all the information.
And if they're mad and angry and they're locked in, they do it in a certain style.
Okay.
So a person breathes a certain way when they're angry. Did you know that?
I've been on the wrong side of it. Yeah.
They hold their body in a certain way too. So this was funny. I just say this funny little story. When I was first learning NLP, it was so much fun, and I was practicing it on everybody that was willing to be around me at the time, and annoying absolutely everyone.
Oh, Terry, I can't imagine that.
But I was playing with it. Yeah. I was literally playing with it. And I had to face up to a not so joking meeting where it was very, very serious. And I had all these ladies, like, you know, board members that wanted to come and have a very serious meeting. And I knew how intense it was. Okay. So guess what I did?
What?
So they walked into the house. Now, remember about the body language, the breath, and you'll never believe what I did.
What did you do?
All three of them walked in together. And I literally went up and I grabbed all three of them at the same time and whizzed them around in a circle. Because, Lisa, can you tell me what just happened right there?
You connected all of you in a positive manner, and then you just brought everybody together as a connection and a community, and you can move
But I
past
broke their state. I
Mhm.
broke their state. So what happens is by you shifting a person, even if they're stuck and they're having this kind of confrontation,
Yep.
by you getting them to move their body, even if it's by a little bit of fun, and that's what I did, you're literally shifting their energy so they snap out of it. And it's a pattern interruption.
Little ring around the rosy doesn't normally work at business meetings, just saying. But you do
don't
you.
try it in executive meetings. Yeah, that was an executive meeting, by the way. But
why am I not surprised? There are so many great techniques and so many great things. I'm actually really interested in your course there, Lisa. Can you just, I know we've sort of touched on it, but can we get some context, how we can actually find out some more as well? That'd be great.
So I have a link for the free course. I can give it to you, and we can, and then people can sign up for it. I can put it in the comments. I would need a second.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
Brilliant idea.
Just a little bit of a snapshot framework around it so people know what they're getting.
Yeah, so it's a free certification on emotional intelligence, and there's 5 pillars. And like I said, it goes into self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship management, and then motivation to keep going, to keep on this journey of becoming more emotionally aware, using your language, and just becoming the better version of you.
What you just said makes me giggle a little bit, because when we're talking to children, we often say, use your words, right? Now, we get bigger, we grow up, but guess what? We still forget to use our words.
Oh, we get worse. Some of us get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just important to keep yourself in check, I guess.
Well, up until now, some of us were getting worse, but now it's going to be different, isn't it, Lisa? Thank you so much for, just instilling some of these ideas of how important language is, and to be kind to ourselves. And I think one of the biggest takes that I've got is what we say is what we are.
Love that.
Oh, I agree completely.
Lisa, thank you very much for being part of the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed your insights, and would love to have you back at sometime in the future. Really, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you. I'd love to come back, and thanks for the opportunity.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being part, of course, the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia.